This is Matt from MGMT Boston. On this episode of Lantern, we are with the CMO of Cimulate, Jess Iandiorio. Jess, what are you and your team building? And more specifically, what do you oversee as the CMO in go-to-market?
Well, what we're building is a very cool edutainment brand. That's basically from my background and intersection of building an educational platform to help our customers understand this great market opportunity and what's new with AI, and then making it fun to consume the content we produce and the events that we sponsor. So my team is in charge of building awareness. We're in charge of building demand for the sales team. And so everything I'm thinking about is one of those two things on any given day: messaging and positioning for the awareness side, and then some more fun event-based activities for activation.
That's great. And Cimulate is a really cool, customer GPT brand, large language model based, reinventing e-commerce search.
Yeah.
So as you think about, Q4, the holiday season, probably the biggest in e-commerce, what are you focused on? What are you seeing?
I'm focused on pumping out a bunch of messaging and exciting pieces of news. So we've had some luck recently. I think we made our own luck, but we were featured as a Gartner Cool Vendor.
Awesome.
So that's something exciting to share with the world. And we are also announcing a huge new advancement to our core technology. We're announcing an Agentic Commerce Suite. We have a bunch of features that we are announcing, and they span analytics tools like AEO analytics. Where is your answer engine traffic coming from? How do you engineer more? We also have a conversational co-pilot piece of our technology, and that's getting its own analytics dashboard. We have a bunch of AI native merchandising tools. So we have a really huge product launch that we're excited to share with the world as well. And we're just going to keep building our momentum into a great presence at NRF, which is the largest retail-centric event in January.
That's awesome. Now, looking into 2026, as you scale the team and scale the suite of how you communicate all this, what does your focus look like headed into next year?
We're thinking about community building. So this is another aspect of what I've done in my career prior to here. I've worked for a bunch of open source commercialization businesses, and they've all had a open source community.
Right.
You don't need to have an open source technology to build a community, and it's often a very effective way to get people in the fold of what your company is doing and how you can help. So this year we started by building a few formats. We have an AI Education for E-commerce YouTube channel where our co-founder Vivek is doing purely educational videos.
Very cool.
So we're going to keep that going. So it's AI for commerce professionals or retailers specifically. In addition to that, we have this newsletter where we share general updates from the world of retail as well as what we're doing on our own. And then next year, we're going to be building a little bit more community interaction format, so physical events and things like that help get similar like minds together around this topic of understanding what is new with AI in e-commerce, what's worth pursuing, what's overly hyped. So really helping people navigate that educational process and how they should prioritize what they're doing in their companies.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you've had an awesome career from Endeca to Miracle to Cimulate and some more startups in between. What have you learned from building in startups across a number of different verticals?
The only constant is change. I think that's the big lesson learned. Justin Borgman from Starburst talks about that all the time. You're dealing with a lot of change. You're dealing with competitors that are entering and exiting.
Sure.
You're dealing with market terminology that's new and not well understood. So I've learned a lot about how to adapt to change and how to leverage changing moments for the better of the business versus be caught on your heels. So I've done a lot of reactive marketing. I've done a lot of category creation to try to control the markets in the direction that we're heading and our leadership position. The only constant is change, and you have to be on your feet. You have to be aggressive with your strategies. You have to be loud. A lot of Boston-based tech companies are not as loud. I've heard you talk about that before. I definitely agree with it. And I've worked for a bunch of companies that have a lot of West Coast funding, and when you spend more time in the West Coast, you see that they are much louder. They have easier access to money, I think, so maybe that enables that behavior. But either way, they take bigger swings and they get more awareness out of those efforts. So I try to bring some of that DNA here to the companies I choose to work for.
Definitely. And last but not least, how can we help you grow? How can we help Cimulate grow in Boston and beyond?
I think bring us to the table when you are talking to any colleagues that are touching commerce in any way, shape, or form. They might be on the marketing side. They might be on the e-commerce side. We're just working on our awareness build. I mean, we have great technology. We tend to win the deals that we get into. It's always about getting more at-bats. And so if you know anybody who you think we could help with our amazing technology, just please give us an intro.
This is Jess, the CMO at Cimulate, Matt from MGMT Boston, this episode of The Lantern. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.